Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Phil Hoffman, and in this episode of Pause, we'll be talking to Cassie Dins from the Columbia Parks and Rec Bureau about a lot of things going on in town. That's coming up in just a minute here on Pause. And welcome to Pause. We're glad you're here. And joining us right now is Cassie Dins. Cassie is with the City of Columbia Parks and Recreation Department. Welcome, Cassie.
Thanks for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, first of all, before we talk about all the events that are going on in town, let's take a few minutes and talk about the Parks and Recs Department. What do you guys do? What's sort of the mission within Columbia?
Oh, you're going to quiz me. We do so many things. We have dozens of parks facilities, and then we provide programming for all of our parks, our facilities, everything from classes in martial arts to fly fishing. We have special events, which is what I do. We have the ARC, the Activity and Recreation Center, which is basically a big gym, and they do all of their own programming there. We have our Armory Sports Corps, which does programming for at-risk youth or the youth in that area that might not have a place to go after school. They'll go there and hang out and have safe activities and programming for them. We have 2 golf courses, a bunch of pools, so much great stuff. Most of it, much of it is free or very low cost to the public, and we are just so lucky to provide these activities to everyone in Columbia.
One of the things you always see when you see a city that has grown a lot, as Columbia has in the last few years, it's always hard when you're in the Parks and Recs Department to try to keep up with that, because those parks, as the city grows, oh, well, there's not a park out in this area now. So how does that challenge you guys in terms of what do you try to do as the city continues to grow?
Well, we have a massive plan of everything that are our goals, and we set those and we meet them. With our park sales tax projects, we have had great success, doing upkeep and improvement in all of our parks. And we're constantly, taking lands that have been donated or, otherwise need to be taken over by someone and providing new parks in new parts of town. Town is expanding massively. And so we're always trying to keep up and put parks in these underserved neighborhoods and put programming in these underserved neighborhoods. Because people in central Columbia, they've got a lot of options, but the people on the outskirts, the north side that's really developing, or the east, we're putting new programs and new parks as Columbia grows. So it's really a joy to, be able to watch it grow and to serve it.
I would imagine one of the other challenges, of course, is with all this growth and all the things going on, just I'm sure in any one given evening, when you really look at the schedule of what's available, there's a lot. So not only is it sort of just coordinating and booking all that, but also you need to have people there, right?
Yeah, we have really, we have great support from the community coming out to our events, and we've got great staff, and there's a lot to look at every time that you put on an event or a program. There's a million moving pieces to get them all put together and promote it and get people there, and it's crazy, fun, wonderful time.
So how did you get into the Parks and Recs Department? How did you fall into that as a career?
Well, as many students, I guess, do, I came to Mizzou not really knowing what I wanted to major in. I did move to Missouri to go to Mizzou from Wisconsin originally. And I applied as a journalism major, changed that before classes even started. Did international studies for a year and realized that I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. And then finally I met someone that just mentioned that was their major. And I said, I can major in parks? This is great. So I got my degree from the Mizzou Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Department, which is a fantastic department. It's growing, it's bustling, it's so vibrant and wonderful, and I try to stay involved with them. And luckily, along the way, I ended up getting a part-time job for Columbia Parks and Rec. And kind of the rest is history. Once the woman that I actually worked for decided to move on to another position, she let me know, and I was very lucky to get in a very competitive department. People love it. People really want to work for the Columbia Parks and Rec Department.
So if you think about sort of the array of options that are available, to me, a lot of times what I think about when I think about Parks and Rec is it's summertime and good weather, but I would imagine you still have plenty going on throughout the course of the winter and fall, right?
Absolutely, especially, we obviously utilize a lot more indoor programming, at the Armory, at the Arc. The Arc is busy year-round. Their busiest time of year potentially is, the winter when everybody's forced indoors to do all of their fitness activities. And we have a variety of other things that go on. We have a train show, we have, craft shows. So we keep programming and we keep doing things and just move a few more of them indoors. And with Columbia's weather, we luck out and we're still able to have a few, trail rides and runs and things kind of throughout the winter.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit. I know you have a giant list here.
I do.
We were talking about this earlier, and she's like, I have a list. So let's talk about some of the things that are going on. You have one series that's kind of wrapping up for the summer right now.
Yeah.
So you want to start there and talk a little about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I do specifically is I do special events, and I also manage our rental facilities. We have rental facilities all over the parks. And throughout the summer, I coordinate 3 different series that take place monthly, May through September. So I have movies in the park at Flat Branch Park. I have concerts at the Stevens Lake Amphitheater, and I have family fun fests at Cosmo Park. And they're kind of just an amalgamation of all kinds of family activities and face painting and, inflatables and crafts and, everything. So we're wrapping up all of those. So we have one more of each in September. So our first thing will be our Stevens Lake Amphitheater concert series, and we'll be having Violet and the Undercurrents on Thursday, September 3rd, and that'll start at 7 p.m., completely free to attend. It's really fun going out there to the Stevens Lake Amphitheater. It's a great park, centrally located, and people get to come out and just sit down, bring a picnic, and listen to the music. Violet and the Undercurrents are a kind of folk rock girl group, and so I'm really excited to have them. And KPLA is our sponsor for that event, and they make everything that we do so easy. They're very supportive, and they get the word out and help us get people into the parks to see, everything that Columbia has to offer. After that, the next Friday on September 11th, we will have our movies in the park at Flat Branch Park, another downtown, centrally located park. And we're going to have Captain America, the First Avenger. I mentioned to you before we started that I'm a huge nerd, and so I'm very excited to have that movie. Big Captain America and Marvel fan, so it's a really fun one. And that one, normally we do charge $2 admission for these, but we had a sponsor, Missouri Care, step in and say that we would like to sponsor this and we'd like to make sure that it's free for everyone to attend on the months that we're sponsoring it. So that movie will be completely free to attend. There'll be popcorn. We project on a giant inflatable screen. So we really just fill up the park with, all of the excitement of Captain America.
So I imagine the week before you have the movie, you're just looking at the weather every day, or do people still come out and sit in the rain?
Yes. No, we actually had a horrible beginning to this season this year. Like I said, our series all run May through September. We didn't actually have a movie take place until July. May and June both were rained out. And, it's just something you've got to deal with. We know people aren't going to come out and sit in the rain. We don't want them to. We don't want them to be cold and miserable because some people will come out no matter what. And we just, we want to make sure it's a fun time. So we're able to postpone those movies and, air them another time. Same thing goes for our concerts and our family fun fests. I really should have minored in meteorology if I would have known what I was going to be doing. I think I probably would have invested a little more time into a meteorology education.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Now, you have another event coming up then after the 11th?
The next one will be the third Wednesday of the month. If you notice the pattern, I do first Thursday, second Friday, and third Wednesday are my series events. And that'll be Family Fun Fest. And that one has a different theme every month. So September's theme is Creative Kids. And that's sponsored by the Office of Cultural Affairs, the Columbia Office of Cultural Affairs, KPLA, Rock and Rents Inflatables, the Columbia Convention and Visitors Bureau, and KOMU. So they're great sponsors. Again, a lot of them help us get the word out. Rock and Rents Inflatable brings the inflatables out. And we're at Cosmo Park with that one this year. It previously was held at Flat Branch Park, but now we're out at Cosmo showing off amazing newly renovated Steinberg playground. It's always been a large playground in Columbia and a very popular one, but we just totally rehauled it. It's gorgeous. I wish I was, 7 years old and could get on some of these elements out there. So it's really cool. And so kids will be able to come out and do some artistic activities. There'll be live entertainment, face painting. It's a really fun event, and we get great turnouts for those.
So those are the events that are sort of wrapping up.
Yes.
But we also have, because you can never not be doing something, right?
Absolutely.
So you have some other events. The Heritage Festival?
Yes, the Heritage Festival. We are actually encroaching on 40 years. It's the 38th annual Heritage Festival, and it's the third weekend in September every year at Nifong Park, which is where the Boone County Historical Museum is. A lot of people will know it by that because maybe their kids have gone on field trips out there. Nifong Park is gorgeous. It's full of old, authentic buildings that have either are from the original family that lived there or have been moved there as other areas of Columbia were developed. So I think that's a really neat aspect of it. And it focuses on kind of 18th, 19th century lifestyle. So we have all sorts of like recreators, people that are dressing up, people that are showing their authentic artisan, crafts. We'll have, people that might be doing blacksmithing, knitting, making bread from scratch, all kinds of just amazingly talented people that have preserved these crafts that, are really generally outdated, but it's so beautiful to see it when you see the craftsmanship go into it. So that's September 19th and 20th, and we have a kids area there. We have 3 stages now. We used to have 2. Now we have 3 stages full of folk music, bluegrass, dancing, German, Cajun, just everything across the board, all kinds of, authentic, just good, hearty fun, and it's so beautiful. And the park is just filled with music and smells and sights and sounds of everything that's going on. And there'll be food vendors. And then the other aspect is a massive craft show. And all of the crafts for this have to be handmade, so we don't accept anyone that's, just buying, reselling, or what have you. So handmade crafts, and those are always just such a joy too. Everything from hand-carved walking sticks to, hats or scarves or jewelry. Very, very cool event. And that one is sponsored by 101.5 KPLA, KFRU, the Columbia Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the Missouri Arts Council.
All right.
Yes.
So there's obviously a lot going on just with that one festival.
Yes, it's one of the biggest things that we do all year, and it's, again, very well attended and supported by the community, and it's really fun for all ages. We see everyone from young families. We get MU students out there. We have the older adults that are looking at the crafts and the historical element of it. The kids that just want to come out and pet a goat or some of the fun little things that we do there, and it's so good. Yeah.
Is it a challenge for you guys when you think about serving the area here in Columbia, because there's so many students here?
Absolutely.
And obviously, without doubt, they have a lot to do at the university.
Yes.
So is that part of your mission? Is it something that you consider, but it's not a driving part? How do you work with that?
I think it's something we do always strive to do. It's very difficult to reach the students. A lot of times they're only in Columbia, half the year, and their mind may not all be here per se. They're here, but they don't know what's going on in Columbia.
Right,
They don't have that kind of pulse on Columbia like they might have on their hometown. And so they learn throughout the time. A lot of them volunteer with us, which is amazing, and we appreciate it. And we are still looking for volunteers for the Heritage Festival. So you can go to gocolumbiamo.com and search volunteer to sign up for that. A lot of those activities will be with the children's area. But yeah, I'm always, especially as an events person, I'm always looking for ways to reach the students and to try to get them out. I notice them at some events, but I think MU does an amazing job of providing activities for them. And not to say that we don't want to as well, but they've got so much going on already that they, and a lot of them do have, ARC memberships, and they choose alternatives, and especially over the summer if they're here and they don't have memberships to the Mizzou Rec, they'll come out and join the ARC and, get involved in some of our programs. And I know that they use the parks and the trails. That's one thing that, they may not partake in our programming, to a massive level, but I see students all over on our trails running, bringing their dogs out to the dog park. So it's really great. We're still reaching them. We're still providing a service for them.
And I think they have some kind of football thing, right, too? Do they do that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The students,
There's a
they
game,
do.
There's a game.
Yeah, some of them go when the team's in town.
There's some kind of football team. Yeah.
Yeah, occasionally.
So when we think about the services that you're talking about that you do over the summer and into the fall, then when does it start for you to think about next year? And are you already working
About a month
on
ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's especially with the bigger events like the Heritage Festival and our 4th of July celebration. We put on the district's 4th of July downtown fireworks and activities. These bigger events, as soon as they're done, we are starting to plan next year. Right now, we are neck deep in getting sponsors lined up for next year to help us fund these programs and make sure they're free to everyone, and to help us bring more to them, to continue improving them. And so it's a constant process. Yeah, it's great. It's just rolling on and on.
If folks are watching this from home and they have an idea for you,
Yeah.
How do they tell you what their idea is?
I think we do great about responding to Facebook messages. That's the easiest way for a lot of people to reach us, because then you don't have to worry about finding the right person. We've got, 100 employees. And so if you contact us on Facebook, that is a good way to get to us too. And then we can direct you to the exact right person or have that person call you.
And what is your Facebook name?
Columbia Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not difficult to figure
Nope.
out, right?
We are also on Twitter at Como Parks, I think. And then we have one main department one, and then I actually run a separate one just for events that is CPRD events. And then we're also on Instagram. So we're getting ourselves out there.
Good. And if we're not 100% sure, we'll get that on the website at
Yes.
kmos.org so you can find
If you
all
search
the right
for us,
Twitters.
it should hopefully pop up too.
So what are your plans for next year? Have you got any ideas, anything different, anything unique?
I haven't evaluated or developed anything new yet for next year. Everything always changes a little. We're getting new entertainers, we're getting new attractions, new themes for some of our programs. Obviously, our movies are different every year. I'm always looking for different musicians for the concert series. And we're always evolving our 4th of July event. So I don't have anything brand new to announce yet, but...
You're just being cagey, aren't you?
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, right. You just don't want to tell us. I see how it is.
We try to constantly keep things evolving, but it's always, it's always a matter of doing what you're doing and doing it well.
Sure.
And as long as people like the programs that we do, we're, our primary goal is to keep improving and providing those. But if you have ideas, something you'd really like to see, we've always got people in the department that are starting new programs. We had a mud run for kids, a kids-dedicated mud run that started last year, and it's called Splat. And last year was the first year, and they set the cap at 300 or 400, and they ended up having to add 200 more spots the week of the event. Wow. This year they upped it to 700, and they sold out a week before. So we're doing new things, and apparently we're doing some pretty great new things. So.
Well, what kid doesn't want to run around in the mud, right?
Absolutely. It's an amazing event. It's just been embraced, fully by the community.
So one of the measures, obviously, for any successful Parks and Rec department is just numbers of people.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the numbers of people that you serve over the course of a year.
Yeah, I have, with our special events, we serve about 100,000 people come to our special events each year. So it's not necessarily every person in Columbia coming to an event at least once, but there are a lot of people that come to multiple ones, and our total attendance is about 100,000 every year. So we're ecstatic, and we recently did a survey that 90-something%, I think 97% of all Columbians have visited a park in the past year. So most of the households, most of the people are going, and of that, 80-some% of them use the trails. So we're so glad that's well above the national average, that people do embrace what we do and that they enjoy what we're able to provide.
Is there something that, as you look at the services and the events that you offer, are there areas of growth for you guys? Are there places you want to do something that you're just not quite there yet?
Absolutely, there always are, and I'm like we talked about the students. I'm always looking at ways to reach different people. Reaching people my age, is one thing that I'm looking to do, and I'm trying to do some of that with the concert series. We're going to try to start bringing out more food vendors. We might get to a point where we're able to vend alcohol on site there. Just a few more things to kind of create more of an atmosphere to it than just the music. And we have programs that serve 50 plus, and those are constantly evolving because the 50-year-old of today wants to do completely different things than the 50-year-old of 20 years ago. So, less bingo, maybe more trips to, cities and arts things. And we've done international trips with our 50 plus program. And reaching the kids is always a big part of what we do because those are kind of the prime people that are looking for things to do. So we're always coming up with new activities for the families, for the youngest kids, and continuing to program for teenagers too. This year we did a teen band concert at the amphitheater. So we always love programming for teens. I have a skateboard event in June every year, and reaching out to teens and actually getting them to respond is so wonderful. I mean, it's, you find the ways to reach people, and when you get it and it clicks, it's so great. And we get great help from the local skate shop on that, and they, really have, like I said, the pulse on what's going on.
When you think about all of the people that use the parks, I'm sure for you there's probably a favorite thing that you've seen, a favorite event, something where you stand there and you watch what's going on and you think, this is why I do this job. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I love the Heritage Festival, and it is the one that's coming up next, but I love Nifong Park. It's so pretty. All of the historic buildings are just beautiful, and what always resonates with me is the very early mornings when we get there to set everything up. Before the people get there, it's beautiful once the people are there, but just to look around and see all the crafters getting their booths, unzipped from overnight, and getting the Jamaican jerk chicken guys, are starting up their smokers, and the goats are waking up, and it's just kind of a beautiful thing. And within a couple hours, the entire park is bustling with thousands of people, and just gives you warm fuzzies.
Now, folks are watching this and they're not sure how to find out about what's going on.
Yeah.
How do they do that? Where do they go?
GoColumbiaMo.com, and then there should be a link to Parks and Rec, or you can always search for Parks and Recreation. And then on the sidebar, there will be special events or any other programs you're looking for. You can find all of it there. Our new Leisure Times program guide, which is our publication that has all of our programs for, I think, August through November is this recent issue. Just came out, so that should be in your mailbox. If it's not already by now, it'll be in the next day or two. So thumb through that, and you'll find out what we're doing through the fall. And make sure you look through it every time that it shows up in your mailbox to see, what's new and what might grab your attention.
And when I'm looking through that and I'm trying to mark down my days and dates, it's always weather pending, probably, if it's an outdoor event, right?
Yes, a lot of them are weather pending. A lot of them we try to postpone and reschedule. Some of them will note no rain dates, which means that if it's canceled, it's just going to be canceled. And if it's something you paid for, generally we issue refunds, but that again depends on the individual events.
And it's probably a challenge too for you. I'm just again thinking, trying to put myself in your place of, finding a band and booking a band, and then it's raining, and I can't make this happen again. Well, I can't make it happen, period.
Sometimes, fortunately, we've only once last year we had to postpone one of our concerts, and the band was amazing, and they were able to make it out the next week. So we just, you're flying by the seat of your pants a little bit, Well, first steps first, I'll reach out and see if they can do it next week. And you just kind of take it from there. And there's always, a million moving parts to think about. You've got to get it out to your sponsors, anyone that's going to be talking about it on the radio. Get it out, most importantly, to the people of Columbia, so we really utilize our social media for that. And just hope, a lot of our friends will retweet it and get the word out that, we're not having it tonight, but we're looking at another date, stay tuned, that sort of thing.
And your job is probably kind of a crazy job in the sense that I'm sure the city folks expect to be able to talk to you during the regular workday, but you have to be everywhere all the time, night and day, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I have events, evenings, weekends, holidays, lots of holidays. more than I expected. But it's so fun to be able to spend those holidays, you know, with the people again that are coming out to do their trick-or-treating at our event, or to spend their New Year's Eve at our, you know, music festival. And it's great, and no one in Parks and Rec across the board anywhere works traditional hours.
Right.
So we've all got you know, some extra time to put in, and it's fun. You mix it up. You know, I'm not always 9 to 5. I get to stay out late and, you know, watch a movie under the stars.
Well, Cassie, thank you for joining us today. One more time, we only have a minute or so left. Remind folks again, if they want to find out what's going on, where do they go?
GoColumbiaMo.com.
GoColumbiaMo.com.
Yes.
There you go. Well, thank you. That's
Thank
Cassie
you.
Dins from the Parks and Recreation Department in the city of Columbia. And chances are, if there's anything fun going around in town, she's probably there. So stop by and say hi. I'm sure she'll be glad to talk to you. That's it for this episode of Pause. I'm Dr. Phil Hoffman. Coming up soon, we'll have more interesting information about things going on around your town here on Pause. That's coming up next time. Thanks again for joining us.